What if life is not chaos, but a game? A game ruled by laws, by words, by energy, by spiritual order. This is not fiction. It's the timeless truth taught by Florence Scovel Shinn, a woman who, in 1925, was already teaching that your thoughts create reality, that your words are commands, and that faith is a discipline, not a wish. Today, I'll walk you through her most powerful teachings from her best-selling book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. Today, you begin to bury what weakens you. But before you can fully step into your power, you need to face the version of you that's been holding you back. You know her well. She's the voice that says, "I'll start tomorrow." The one that scrolls instead of works, that hides behind excuses, that fears judgment more than failure. She breaks promises to herself, not loudly, but silently. One small compromise at a time, one skipped commitment, one "it's okay" when it's not. She apologizes for wanting more. She fears rejection more than regret. She shrinks to make others comfortable. She clings to comfort like it's safety, when really, it's a cage. And every time you choose her, you lose momentum. You lose clarity. You lose self-respect. You cannot rise while dragging her with you. You cannot walk into your next level carrying the patterns that built your limitations. You can thank her for getting you this far. But now, you leave her behind. Florence said, "Your word is your wand." And she meant that literally. Every phrase you speak is creative. Every sentence is a spiritual instruction. You are building reality with your language, even when you're unaware of it. When you say, "I'm tired," you're not just describing how you feel. You're reinforcing it. When you say, "Nothing ever works for me," you're not venting. You're casting a spell. The words you repeat become beliefs, and your beliefs become law. Not cosmic law. Your law. The law that governs your results, your relationships, your future. So the question is, are you speaking from fear or from power? From your past or from your purpose? You cannot speak defeat and expect victory. You cannot speak weakness and expect strength. You cannot speak lack and expect abundance. Command your life with clarity. Speak what you intend to receive. Because every word you speak is a doorway you open, Florence said. Faith opens the way, but obedience walks it. It's not enough to hope. It's not enough to dream. And it's certainly not enough to speak if your actions contradict your words. You say you expect abundance, but do your habits reflect preparation? Do your boundaries reflect self-respect? Do your mornings reflect clarity? Expectation is not a wish. It's a posture. It's how you walk, talk, decide before anything shows up. You say you believe in success, but success doesn't respond to belief alone. It responds to alignment, to structure, to discipline, and faith. Real faith is revealed not when it's easy, but when it's inconvenient. When you keep moving even when you don't see the outcome. When you clean your house like guests are already coming. When you dress for the job before it arrives. When you treat yourself with value before anyone else validates you. Faith is not passive. Expectation is not fantasy. It's alignment in motion. So, if you truly expect more, live like it. Your life is not a coincidence. It's a reflection. Every result, every relationship, every repeated pattern is a mirror. And that mirror shows you one thing: your alignment. You don't fix your life by chasing the outside. You fix it by correcting the inside. Because the outside is always following the inside. Always. If there's chaos in your world, there's chaos in your focus. If there's confusion in your path, there's doubt in your voice. Your results don't lie. They reflect. They mirror the thoughts you tolerate, the energy you repeat, and the standards you allow. You are not a victim of your reality. You are the author of its blueprint. Change the inner script, and the world will follow. Florence said, "What you resist persists." And she was right. Because every time you fight against something, you're feeding it. You're fueling it with your focus, your energy, your emotional fire. Resistance is not strength. It's spiritual entanglement. You think you're protecting yourself, but you're actually binding yourself to the very thing you want to escape. When someone disrespects you, and you argue, explain, or beg, you give them power. When fear shows up, and you freeze, complain, or overanalyze, you give it life. But what if you stopped fighting what drains you, and started feeding what builds you? Florence didn't teach silence. She taught strategy. She taught alignment. Don't fight hate. Anchor in love. Don't fight lack. Move with abundance. Don't fight fear. Obey faith. The game of life doesn't reward resistance. It rewards focus. Direction, discipline. Withdraw from what weakens you. Invest in what empowers you. That's not passivity. That's precision, Florence said. Intuition does not explain. It simply points the way. But how often do you ignore it? You feel the nudge, the whisper, that silent knowing in your gut. But instead of moving, you hesitate. You ask for signs. You wait for logic. You talk yourself out of the very thing your soul is calling you to do. Here's the truth. Guidance means nothing without obedience. Knowing is not enough. You must act. You don't have to understand everything. You don't need the whole map. All you need is the next step and the courage to take it. Sometimes divine direction feels uncomfortable. It asks you to release control, to say no, to walk away, to stand alone. But obedience isn't about comfort. It's about alignment. It's about trust. It's about saying, I don't see the outcome yet, but I refuse to betray my knowing. You cannot expect divine results while ignoring divine instructions. The universe doesn't respond to intentions. It responds to integrity, to movement. So stop asking for more signs. Start honoring the ones you already received. Your next level isn't waiting on a miracle. It's waiting on your obedience. Power is not control. Let me say that again. Power is not control. Control comes from fear, from the need to manage every detail, force every outcome, and prove your worth through exhaustion. But power? Power flows. Power trusts. Power moves with intention, not anxiety. The woman who walks in power is not frantic. She plans, but she's not rigid. She leads, but she doesn't need to dominate. She listens to intuition, not impulse. Control says, I must make this happen. Power says, if it's aligned, it's already mine. Power is calm, and calm is a decision, one you make again and again, until it becomes your natural posture. You don't need to force. You need to align. Because true power is quiet and unshakable. The greatest battles are not around you. They're inside you. Florence said, man must train his thinking the way he trains his body. You want prosperity, but do you train your mind for abundance? You want peace, but do you protect your thoughts? You want strength, but Do you correct the inner voice that keeps you small? Discipline is not about being hard on yourself. It's about being loyal to your higher self. It's choosing alignment when distractions scream. It's choosing silence over self-sabotage. Your mind is not a trash bin for fear, gossip, and doubt. Your mind is your command center, your temple, your power base. And if you don't train it, the world will. Every day, you're being programmed. By media, by fear, by culture. But Florence taught that the disciplined woman programs herself. She affirms truth. She replaces lies. She catches the thought, cancels it, and replaces it on repeat. This is not glamour. It's inner warfare. It's mastery. Discipline is not a trend. It's a spiritual tool. And the woman who commands her mind commands her life. You were not created to live on autopilot, to wake up tired, to speak without power, to shrink in rooms you were born to lead. You were created to live by design, with vision, with clarity, with divine conviction. The game of life is not a test, it's a field. And you are not a passive player. You are a force, a commander, a woman of spirit and structure. Florence Scovel Shinn gave us the laws, but it's your posture that activates them. It's your word that sets the tone. It's your discipline that keeps the alignment. And it's your faith, your practiced, lived, walked faith that opens the way. So today, speak as if it's already done. Act as if it already belongs to you. Move like you've already won. Because this world doesn't rise for fear. It doesn't shift for indecision. It bends for boldness. It follows order. It mirrors back your inner stance. And if this message awakened something in you, subscribe. Not just to this channel, but to your own power, to your next level, to the woman you're becoming. This is Florence Manifest. And this is just the beginning.